Welcome to the World Rally Championship. After a 2-month break, we're in Finland for the fastest and most spectacular event of the year. We're halfway through the season and it's already been a seesaw battle for the lead of the championship. Reigning world champion Sebastian Loeb threw down the gauntlet in the brand new Citroën C4 with a win in Monte Carlo. Ford hit back with wins on the snow and ice of Sweden and Norway, one for Gronholm and one for Hirvonen. Loeb responded with 3 wins on the trot in Mexico, Portugal and Argentina. But 2007 hasn't proved to be as easy for him as previous years. In Sardinia, he made a rare mistake, crashing out on Sunday when leading. Gronholm took the win and retook the lead in the championship. And he extended it, beating Loeb again in Greece to give him a 9 points lead midway through the season. So, after 8 events, Gronholm leads the Drivers' Championship from Loeb. Mikko Hirvonen is third ahead of Danny Sordo, with Petter Solberg in 5th, just ahead of his brother Henning. And that brings us up to date for round 9 here in Finland. It's an event that Loeb has never won, and victory would be a psychological blow in his battle for the championship, but he knows he'll have to take risks.
Here to go fast, you need to take some risks to slide at high speed, and for that, if you are not confident in the car, it's not easy. So for me, the most important is to feel well, and then we see.
Are you feeling well? Are you feeling confident?
At the moment, yes. But last year I was feeling well, and after the first stage, a bit less. So we'll see this year.
Sadly for Loeb, Gronholm has a new car. Plus, he's won here 6 out of the last 7 years. But he also knows that he will have to push hard.
Yeah, some stages we are going really crazy to make the times. I am just attacking all the time. I'm not balancing. Maybe the last day, hopefully it will be finished before that.
Mikko Hirvonen in the second Ford has a big role to play this weekend. He'll be hoping for glory, but he can also help his teammate by beating Loeb.
The plan is not just to concentrate on helping Marcus. I want to win this rally, and hopefully I have the speed to do it, and I can stay in the fight the whole weekend.
Petter Solberg's had a disappointing season in his Subaru, but third in Greece and plenty of testing over the summer break have given him more hope.
Things has to be so right and in balance of the chassis if you're gonna go flat out over these jumps and stuff. But hopefully that we can go for a really good podium anyway. And if we see after the first day that we can really go to fight for a victory, I will try very hard.
So, in the manufacturer's standings, Subaru are a long way off in third, just 2 points ahead of the Stobart Ford team. But it's the BP Ford team that lead the championship from Citroën by an impressive 28 points. There's 3 days of classic fast gravel action coming up. The rally is once again based in Jyväskylä with 360 stage kilometres for the crews to tackle, and almost half of that will be new to the drivers. This will at least give the less experienced crews a better chance of posting some competitive times. But it was a familiar setting for the start of the rally at last night's Kaleri Super Special. As always in Finland, a large, enthusiastic crowd turned out to watch Rally's best going head-to-head. The big draw saw championship frontrunners Marcus Gronholm and Sebastian Loeb line up alongside each other, an intriguing prelude to the 3 days ahead, and it was local star Marcus who took first blood in this duel, finishing the 2-kilometre stage just 1/10 of a second ahead. But quickest of the night was Subaru's Chris Atkinson, the Australian 2/10 faster than Gronholm. But it's this morning when the action in the forest surrounding Jyväskylä is about to get underway, and Marcus Gronholm has lined up aiming for his 7th home win. Away he he goes. This is, of course, the first outing for the 07 Focus. There are not too many visual differences from its predecessor. The main improvements are in weight distribution. It should all improve the Focus's balance and handling, which is good news for Marcus and Mikko Hirvonen. The man charged with beating Finland's finest in their new cars is Sebastian Loeb. The Frenchman with it all to do then as he blasts into stage 2. This is the first time since 2003 that Seb has not led coming into the second half of the season, and with a 9-point deficit to make up, these are testing times for the world champion. Third onto the stage is Mikko Hirvonen. The Finn's shown tremendous pace and consistency in recent times, and after proving he can beat his illustrious teammate on pace alone in Norway earlier this year, he'll hope he can challenge for victory again on home soil. Here's Petter Solberg now waiting his turn to take on stage 2. Good clean getaway from the Norwegian. Subaru have been working hard in the mid-season break to improve the Impreza, and after a fine podium finish in Greece, we've seen a real turn in fortunes for the Japanese manufacturer in recent times. Back with Marcus Gronholm now, though, and the Finn has looked as quick as ever through the undulating roads of his homeland this morning. He covers the 17 kilometres of stage 2 in a time of 8 minutes 23.3 seconds. That's the benchmark then for Loeb to chase, and judging from the early split times through stage 2, we could be in for a treat this weekend. With virtual spectator, you can see Loeb was 1.3 seconds ahead of Gronholm at the 9.4 kilometre split. That's just over halfway through. But a typically resilient Gronholm fought back immediately. By the 14.5 kilometre split, the Finn had edged ahead again by half a second. So let's rejoin the Citroën driver as he attacks the final kilometre of stage 2. Has he been able to fight back again? There are the yellow boards. He's coming up to the flying finish, and this is too close to call. Well, that's the identical time to Gronholm. 8 minutes 23.3 seconds again. Absolutely nothing between them to the nearest tenth of a second. Mikko Hirvonen, meanwhile, was just over a second behind his teammate after last night's Super Special. But after the midway split here, Mikko was 3.7 seconds up, so a terrific performance so far for the young Finn. This is going to be a great time. Yes, 3 seconds quicker than Gronholm, and Mikko takes over the rally lead.
Mikko, what a stage time there. Fastest so far, really on it.
That was the plan, but it went very well. Really pushed hard, but no mistakes or anything, so it was very good stage.
The expected front runners not disappointing then. Further back, Petter Solberg has set a respectable time, 8.5 seconds slower than Hirvonen. But at the end of the stage, Subaru's number 1 is clearly not happy.
I have big problems with the car. It steers by itself completely. I don't have any chance at all. I can't even brake, you know. I'm incredible.
Petter already frustrated, but things are looking better for his Subaru teammate Chris Atkinson. The Australian's only 0.3 of a second behind Loeb and Gronholm's time, and he's currently 4th overall. And that's despite this big slide that came close to sending him off the road. It's been a strong start too for Manfred Stoll. He's had a frustrating opening to the year, struggling to get the best from his Citroën Zara, but it's all looking good in Finland. He's 5th fastest through so far. But there is still one more flying Finn to finish this opening stage. Jari-Matti Latvala's already proven his pace on events outside the Finnish borders, and he'll be desperate to prove his speed again at his home event. As he bears down on the finish line here, he could challenge for the lead. Yes, a fantastic start to the day for Latvala. 1.6 seconds faster than Hirvonen, and Jari-Matti is now the rally leader.
Jari, you've had some great moments in your career and everything, but you're now leading Rally Finland.
That's a surprising moment, you know. I was surprised with my time. I couldn't expect that that's good, because some places went a little bit wide, and
that's a little bit the confidence is I need to find it a little bit more, but I'm happy. It looks good.
A great performance from Latvia that sees all the leading contenders dropping down a position. Citroen's Danny Sordo completes the top 8, but it's 3 Fords at the top. Can the Fords continue their dominance, or can Sebastian Loeb's Citroen get amongst them? More Rally Finland action coming up after the break. Welcome back to Rally Finland, where young Finnish star Jani-Matti Latvala has stormed into the early lead after the opening stage this morning. Here he is now in the 14-kilometre stage 3, and again the 22-year-old is looking completely committed. Oh, but look at that. The rubber seal from the top of his doors popped out. That's going to be really distracting for Jani-Matti. At speeds of up to 180 kilometres an hour, you need to be completely focused on the road ahead, but that rubber flapping around by his shoulder is not going to help. Oh, and he's gone off. He slid really wide at that right-hander and he dropped down the bank at the side of the road. What a frustrating way to end his run in the lead. So with Latvala out of the running, it's back to his compatriots, Gronholm and Hirvonen, to fight for the top spot. The fastest time on stage 3. Gronholm passes his teammate and takes over the rally lead from Latvala. But he doesn't stay there long. Hirvonen fights back immediately on the following test. And with a time 1 second better than Marcus, he's back in front, but by just 1/10 of a second. Sebastian Loeb, meanwhile, is doing his best to stay in touch with the intense pace of the two Finns. The world champion is second fastest on stage 3. But then a stall on the following stage is the last thing he needed. Only 5 seconds or so lost here, but on such a quick rally, that could be a costly mistake. Loeb's Citroen teammate Danny Sordo is the big improver on stage 4. The Spaniard jumps from 7th to 5th on an event that ended with a huge accident last season. Sordo's upwards momentum has been aided by problems for Manfred Stoll. He's dropped outside the top 8 following this mistake at the same corner that caught out Loeb. Latvala's off means the top 3 positions are now held by Hirvonen, Gronholm and Loeb. Chris Atherton moves up to 4th, and behind Sordo, Petter Solberg is now 6th. The crews are now on their way back to service. And at the service park in Jyväskylä, Ford's drivers can reflect on mixed fortunes this morning.
Are you more worried about Mikko or are you more worried about Sebastian?
They are both quick here, so we will see. I was expecting today that it will be really tight. Tomorrow we will try to do something.
If Marcus is the benchmark, where have you got this speed from? All of a sudden you're right up there with him.
Well, we're in Finland, so I know the stages here so well and I've done the rally quite many times, so I knew myself that I can do it in here. But of course, it's still a long way to go, so anything can happen. But I'll try to keep up the speed.
You were leading after stage 2, but what happened?
Well, going to the stage 3, there was the seal of the door came off, and I tried to took it probably off, and I lost my concentration, stalled the engine in the junction, a little bit too much heat, and kilometer after that, off the road, and we went backwards to the ditch. Stupid mistake.
On to the second run through this morning's stages now, and there'll be no disadvantage for Marcus Gronholm running first on the road. Now the surface is clear of loose gravel. Off he goes into stage 5, and he begins just 1/10 of a second behind his teammate Mikko Hirvonen, remember. So he'll be attacking right from the off to regain the advantage. Sebastian Loeb, meanwhile, is already beginning to lose touch with the fighting Finns at the front. A small alteration in the pace notes there from the Frenchman. He's still constantly looking for improvements wherever he can. But whatever the secret is to the speed of the local drivers here, it's one that the all-conquering world champion has yet to discover. Here's the current leader, Mikko Hirvonen. As with most drivers, Mikko loves these roads, but he more than most enjoys the sensation of getting sideways in the air. And with just a tenth of a second in hand, he's going to need to continue the same form he showed this morning. Chris Atkinson, meanwhile, is currently running fourth. It's been a terrific start for the Australian on this most demanding of events. He's only 3.8 seconds behind Sebastian Loeb coming into stage 5. With Loeb now as he closes on the finish line of this 17-kilometre stage. Gronholm has already finished and set a time of 8 minutes and 10.1 seconds, so the pressure's now on the world champion to respond. Well, despite his considerable talent, Seb is slower again, only 1.4 seconds off Gronholm's pace, but it's all adding up. He's now 7.9 behind overall.
I try really hard and cannot do really better, so I try to continue, but I'm on the maximum.
Seb feels he can do no better then, so slowly but surely it's becoming a duel between Finland and Ford's finest. Mikko Hirvonen began the stage a minuscule 1/10 of a second ahead of his double world champion teammate Gronholm. Here come the finish board, and once again that's the time he needs to beat to keep the lead. He's slower by just 0.4 of a second, but that's enough to hand the lead back to Gronholm. Once again, the two Ford men swap places. Chris Atkinson has put in another impressive display through stage 5. He's fifth fastest, but has slipped another 2.5 seconds behind Loeb. But Petter Solberg is improving. Another frustrating morning saw the Norwegian plagued with handling problems, but whatever adjustments were made in service seem to have worked. He's fourth fastest and moves ahead of Danny Sordo.
Line into turn 6 right long.
Quite terrifying speed here from the former world champion.
Back right to the crest.
So, local knowledge still winning the day as Gronholm and Hirvonen start to pull ahead of the field. Further down the leaderboard, Henning Solberg still 7th, while Manfred Stoll moves back into the top 8. There are 11 Ford Focuses entered in this event, a record for a single manufacturer in the WRC. And their leading two drivers continue to dominate. Marcus Gronholm is fastest in both stages 6 and 7, but again only by a few tenths from Mikko Hirvonen. That will be pleasing for their new sponsors, the Abu Dhabi Tourism Authority. Sebastian Loeb really pushed Marcus Gronholm on day 1 of Rally Finland last year, but he's struggling to hold on today, losing more time to the Fords. He's staying ahead of Chris Atkinson in 4th, but Petter Solberg in 5th is holding his ground, just under 20 seconds behind Loeb. Obviously happier with his car now, a podium place could be a possibility. So as they return to service, Gronholm and Hirvonen are over 10 seconds ahead of 3rd place Loeb. The top 6 positions remain the same.
Mikko, it's second service today, 7 stages down in total. It's 0.8 between you and Marcus. It's a massive battle.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, and I've been really enjoying it. But I don't know. On all the stages, I've been faster in the beginning of the stages than Marcus, but then he catches me in the end, and I don't know exactly why. Maybe it's from the tires, but you know, I'm losing a bit.
And that battle of the Finns in Fords will continue over the day's final stages. They're coming up after the break. Welcome back to Rally Finland. Before we join the action at the head of the field, here's a look at how some of the other competitors are getting on. Chemi Pons is making his debut in the Subaru. He was pushing for a top 8 position, but has now dropped down to 11th. Those who have moved ahead include Ermo Ava, the FIA junior driver trying his luck in the senior category. He's 10th. And he's headed by Juho Hänninen. The Finn in the Mitsubishi Lancer is 9th.
5. Ja vasen eri pitkä jatkuu yli. Jatkuu vasen eri.
Guy Wilkes is in one of those 11 Ford Focuses. He's flying the flag for Great Britain in 12th. Another Ford Focus, that of Luis Perez Companc, is 13th. And behind Companc is another Focus, the Stobart VK car of Matthew Wilson. Khalid Al-Qasimi, the driver from the United Arab Emirates, making his debut in the Abu Dhabi Tourism Authority-backed Ford Focus, is still finding his WRC feet down in 25th.
And right 5. And right 5 into sharp crest middle, jump 4. Flat crest middle into left 5 plus over crest.
Jari-Matti Latvala was, remember, the leader after stage 2, but his day went rapidly downhill. He broke his steering when he hit a rock on stage 5, and after going off the road on stage 7, retirement quickly followed.
40 sumppu. Vasen 6 jatkuu risteys oikea 9. Siis vasen 6 jatkuu risteys oikea 9.
Back to those fighting it out at the top of the leaderboard, and that's how they stand going into the final loop of stages. Manfred Stoll has had a day of mixed fortunes after starting so strongly. He's looking for improvements in this second half of the season, and ends the day in 8th. Norway's Henning Solberg took his time getting up to speed today, but has gradually fought his way up to 7th. He's been involved in a battle with Danny Sordo. Henning had got ahead of the Spaniard on stage 8, but Sordo went back into 6th on stage 9, and then increased his advantage on stage 10, when his rivals suffered power steering problems. Petter Solberg had begun to close on his teammate Chris Atkinson on stage 9, the gap down to just 5 seconds.
6 right arm long, 6 left minus arm long, give in, 6 right minus tightens cut 5.
The Norwegian's advantage was mainly down to a spin from Atkinson late in that stage, but it's been an assured day from the Australian, and he beats his teammate on stage 10 to retain his position going into the first overnight halt. The leading trio are now almost half a minute ahead of the chasing pack. Sebastian Loeb is in 3rd. He has been able to do nothing about the incredible speed the two Ford drivers have been displaying. He's given it everything, but he may have to wait a little longer for that first Finland win. With rain forecast this afternoon, the Ford drivers were the only ones to stay on the harder compound tyres, and their decision has proved a wise one. It's still dry, and Mikko Hirvonen beats Loeb on all 3 final forest stages to pull out an advantage of 16.3 seconds over the world champion.
The plan for tomorrow now, you're going to have a good night's sleep and sort him out?
Good night's sleep, and maybe I phone some friend that he could keep Markus awake the whole night, so give me advance for tomorrow.
It's been a good performance from Mikko today, but unfortunately for the Finn, his compatriot and teammate Gronholm has been quite simply inspired. Fastest on all 3 stages this afternoon, he's beginning to pull away from Hirvonen.
You've taken some time out of Mikko, but it's still not very much. It's one hell of a fight.
Yeah, it is, but I was expecting tomorrow it will be maybe better for me. I normally I know the roads down there a little bit more.
The day ended with another run through the Kaleri Super Special. No changes in the top 8 there. Gronholm increasing his lead to 4.4 seconds, while Hirvonen in second lost half a second to Loeb. You can find all the reaction to a fast and furious day 1 of Rally Finland at WRC.com, and we'll see you tomorrow for day 2.